Most people are just told to exercise and meditate to help manage their anxiety. But what if I told you that there are 5 powerful tips you can use to help manage and reduce your anxiety, which not many people know about? Let's start off with the first tip, which is pretty strange and counterintuitive, and yet it actually works. Anxiety tip number 1. Whether you're anxious about blushing during a presentation, or perhaps you're too anxious to sleep, or maybe you're feeling stressed about, not being able to perform in the bedroom, then one thing to try is what's called a paradoxical intervention, which is basically where you try to actively do the opposite. It sounds weird, but hear me out. So for example, if you're scared of blushing, then you might actively try to blush as much as possible. Or if you're too anxious to sleep, then you might try to stay awake. Or if you're having performance anxiety in the bedroom, then you might try to not get aroused with your partner. As weird as it sounds, these kinds of interventions can work, particularly for sleep-related problems, as shown by various studies. One reason they work might be due to ironic process theory, which is also known as the pink elephant paradox. That's basically the process of, if I tell you don't think about pink elephants, what are you thinking of? That's right, probably pink elephants. Sometimes trying to suppress thoughts can intensify them. So try doing the opposite behavior, but only if it's safe to do so. And do discuss this with your doctor or therapist if you have a mental health condition before trying this. Now, this next anxiety tip works great, but it honestly doesn't get recommended enough. Anxiety tip number 2. Do you have anxious thoughts that just go round and around your head like a washing machine? And even if you try not to think about it, those thoughts just keep going round and round, niggling at you all day. Well, this is what's called rumination or obsessive thinking, and believe it or not, even as a psychotherapist myself, even I can ruminate at times. Now, this might be because as human beings, part of us may sense some kind of perceived future danger, and so the rumination is your brain trying to figure it out, but it doesn't have a plan. And unfortunately, that rumination may also deplete our serotonin, which is the neurotransmitter connected with mood, making us feel even worse. But fear not, there is a solution, and it's called constructive worrying, which is a technique from the world of cognitive behavioral therapy, also known as CBT. So constructive worrying involves basically giving yourself, say, 10 to 15 minutes to actively worry. But there is one rule. When you worry, you have to be constructive. So that means you're basically worrying about what could happen, but you're also trying to be somewhat solution focused. So for example, you might write that down and then write down, okay, what are the best, worst, and most probable case scenarios connected to a worry you have? Then you might write down, what will you do if the worst case scenario does happen? What could you do to deal with the worst? What might be your options? And you might also use something like the 4D worry technique, which is where you categorize your worry into one of 4 categories: do, defer, delegate, or ditch. So are you going to do something about it imminently? Or will you defer by doing something about it later down the line? Or will you delegate the task to someone else to worry about? Or perhaps will you just ditch the worry altogether because maybe it's just not that important? Try doing constructive worrying for 10 minutes a day and see how you feel. And if you do it when you wake up in the morning, then at least you can get your worry done for the day and enjoy the rest of your day. Now, this next tip for anxiety is really underrated and sometimes gets a bad reputation, but it's really, really powerful. Anxiety tip number 3. So are you someone who, after 5 to 10 seconds of meditation, just wants to climb the walls? If so, you're really not alone, especially if you're someone with ADHD or a lot of trauma. A lot of people can struggle with meditation, including me at times. Now, luckily, there is an alternative, and it's called guided hypnosis. Unlike meditation, guided hypnosis does not require such a laser focus on your breath or your body, but rather all you need to do is just close your eyes, listen to the therapist's voice, and let your imagination and unconscious mind do the rest. Hypnosis can sometimes get this kind of reputation for being woo-woo or strange, and maybe that's because there are some weird things that have been associated with it, like past life regression, which personally I don't believe in or practice, or turning people into chickens on stage. But hypnosis is actually a serious and powerful evidence-based tool, and there's numerous studies showing its effectiveness for treating clinical conditions like insomnia, anxiety, depression, and addiction. I've personally used guided hypnosis myself as well, and it's recently helped me to face an uncomfortable medical procedure which I had a lot of anxiety around. So check out my anxiety support page in the description and the comments below, and I'll share some recommended links to guided hypnosis for anxiety. Now, this next tip for anxiety might be a game changer and is really easy to do and may even bring instant relief. Anxiety tip number 4. So, you feel anxious, but let me ask you, have you tried to engage with that anxiety like a curious scientist? So for example, scaling the anxiety you feel on a scale of 0 to 10. Where is it now? Is the anxiety a 5 out of 10, a 7, or even a 10 out of 10? Scale the anxiety and perhaps take a few slow deep breaths and then scale it again. Is it still at a 10? Has it maybe gone down by a point? By scaling the anxiety, what you're doing is 2 things. Firstly, you're engaging the rational thinking brain, also known as the prefrontal cortex, and you're also stepping into what's called the observing self, which is a part of you that can be self-aware and observe thoughts, sensations, and emotions and not over-identify with them. This scaling technique is in fact taught by some psychotherapy trainers because it can be a fast and effective technique for reducing anxiety as well as helping clients to regulate their emotions. Studies certainly suggest that labeling emotions may help to reduce the activity of the amygdala, which is the security center of the brain, which is largely responsible for activating our fight or flight mode. And scaling anxiety could be a way to micro-label that anxiety. But this final anxiety tip is perhaps the most unexpected of them all. Anxiety tip number 5. Let me ask you a question. Is it just me, or did a lot of us leave school, go into the world of work, and gradually see our hobbies, leisure time, and social life slowly diminish or even completely disappear? And before we know it, our lives have become endless to-do lists filled with constant pressure to get everything done, keep everyone happy, hit targets, to achieve things, work towards goals, and all of that stuff. And perhaps you're trying to be there for your family, be a good mother, brother, sister, friend, and trying to also stay afloat during these difficult times. Now, if that is you, you are not alone. And it's honestly no wonder you're feeling anxious. Life probably feels like you're being endlessly chased by a hungry tiger. And if you're not careful, an overly busy modern living style can elevate your background stress, making it more likely your nervous system won't get a chance to properly decompress, making you feel like a chronically anxious wreck, and making it more likely you can have a panic attack because your body and your brain can literally not handle any more stress. So, what's the solution? Well, it might be really simple, and it's this: play. Go and play. Forget all about being a busy and responsible adult, even if it's just for an hour or 2. One study found that actually playing certain casual games could reduce stress almost as much as doing a body scan meditation. Another study found that people who engage more frequently in enjoyable leisure activities show more positive mood and lower stress level. And this might be because play does a few things. First of all, it may reduce cortisol, which is a hormone related with stress. And secondly, it can serve as a wonderful distraction. And it may also help to induce a flow state and a sense of timelessness, which could help to activate a stress buffering and stress relieving effect, similar to some states of meditation. As humans, we are born to play. You don't need to teach kids how to play. Playing comes so naturally to children, but it eventually gets socialized out of them. As medical researchers highlight, adults tend to forget to play. So do yourself a favor, after watching this video, go and play. Do something fun for the sake of it and not to try to achieve some goal. Might be just perhaps building a sandcastle, picking daisies in the field, maybe play some football, volleyball, or basketball with your friends. Maybe you could draw something, or you could even play a low-stress video game. Just go and do it and let me know how you feel after. Now, I'm curious, do you use any of these tips already? Did any of them surprise you? Or are there any tips you'd personally recommend for reducing anxiety? If so, drop a comment below because your tip could be really helpful to someone who suffers from anxiety. Now, one thing I haven't talked about yet is anxiety's cousin, depression, which can also feature a lot with those with high anxiety. And both anxiety and depression can be effectively treated with psychotherapy, as shown by various studies. However, the question is, which therapy is best? Well, if you'd like to know my professional opinion on that, then click this video here where I review and rank all of the major therapies. And remember, this video is not a replacement for psychiatric or medical treatment, diagnosis, or advice.